Welcome back to another episode of Beauty and the Greek. I'm Kate.
And my name is William.
We're so glad you're here. This is my favorite part of the week, to be honest.
Easily. Thank you so much for all the support you've been showing us. It's been crazy. We hit 1,000 downloads on all of our episodes so far, which is pretty spectacular.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that. Follow us, IG, YouTube, TikTok.
All of it. I'll link it in the show notes.
All of it. But we have an exciting episode today. But first off, we have to talk about the Greek word of the day.
Oh.
Yes. Today's word is actually a word that I would describe you as.
Hot, sexy, fun, and flirty?
No, that comes after all. This comes after all of those things.
Okay, let's hear it.
The word is halara.
Halara.
It's a tough one. Halara.
Halara.
Yeah, close. It means like super chilled, laid back, and it's kind of like it's not slang, but it's like a cool way to say like, oh, they're super chill, super smooth, you know.
I like that.
Yeah, you're very halara.
Halara.
You got something for me today?
I do. Beauty product of the day. Look, guys, if you don't have one of these, you need one. You need one.
Do I have one?
Yes, you do. It's the Waterpik electric toothbrush combo. I got one for Will, and he's obsessed with it. In fact, he spends maybe 10 minutes a night water flossing his teeth.
I have upped my nighttime routine by like a half an hour because of you, and I appreciate it.
You're doing a great job. But no, I'm being so serious. If you care about your teeth and your hygiene, you will get one of these. I'll link it in the show notes. I'm being so serious. Like, get one. It changes your life. Does it not feel so satisfying too?
Yeah, I'm like a competitive person, so every night I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna get more and more stuff out of my teeth than I did last night. Like it's a game. It's great.
It's so nice.
It's great.
It feels so good.
And then, the obvious, it's very good for you to clean your teeth.
Yeah.
I went from having like a 1 minute nighttime routine to having a like 30-minute nighttime routine now.
And you're glowing.
You boys, come on, baby.
Yeah. Okay, but y'all, we finally booked all of our stuff for our Greece trip. We're gonna be in Greece for 5 weeks. 5 weeks.
July 22nd to August 28th, we will be in Greece.
We're going Athens. We're gonna be in Athens for like a little over a week, so we might do a little trip in that Athens trip. Then we're going to Mykonos, then we're going to Naxos, and then we're going to Milo, and then we're coming home. Well, no, then we're going back to Athens again, and then we're coming home.
We got a long trip, and I feel like, honestly, if I'm going to visit Greece, I need to go for at least a month. The last few times, it's been a couple of weeks here and there, and you almost feel like as soon as you're getting settled in, you got to go. I want to feel like, you know what, I have done everything I needed to do here, saw everybody I needed to see, partied however hard I need to party. Time to go home.
I want to be actually ready to come home because most trips at the end you're like sad, but you're like, oh, I'm so glad to go home. Last year I was not ready to come home. I cried on the plane home. Actually bawled my eyes out.
That flight was insane.
And then our layover was in Philadelphia. You know how depressing that was? That was the most depressing layover to get home I've ever experienced.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. We were on that flight though, and Kate's trying to sleep, and there's a lady sitting to her left, and then there's 3 people behind us. These Greeks, lovely people, amazing Greek people, but they were from the villages, the Chorios, and they sounded like they had never left Greece before. They didn't speak a word of English, and this lady next to Kate. Poor Kate, she's trying to sleep, and the lady, the flight attendant comes around to give food, and Kate's like trying to pass out, and the grandmother like wakes up Kate and's like, eat, like you have to eat. It was a lot.
Well, she saw that I was in distress, to be fair, because we went out the night before and then came home and packed up our stuff and left. Like we just went out till like 3 a.m. and then got our stuff and went and got on the plane. And so she saw that I was
3 a.m.
5 a.m. whatever it was. She saw
our flight was at like 8 a.m. the next day.
She saw that I was still drunk crying and like half asleep. She was like, "You need to eat." But yeah, she forced me to eat.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I was like, I didn't have it in me to fight her. I was like, you know what? I'll eat the airplane meatballs or whatever it was. It was so gross, but she was staring over my shoulder. Like if I didn't eat all of it, she would have like hit me.
It was a very Greek moment that I was very proud of. You know, we all have those grandmothers or those aunts like growing up. We're like, oh, I'm full. They're like, perfect. Here's 5 more plates. Like enjoy.
I used to go to my grandmother's house to run, like to lose weight, and she'd be like, "So you're not gonna stay for pie? You don't want any of this pie that I just made?"
You're like, I just ran off last night's pie. Granny, like, what do you think I'm doing here?
Shout out grandmas, honestly.
No, for real. Love me the grannies.
But the Greek trip is going to be amazing. Like,
very excited for that.
Oh, I'm so excited. Can't wait. We only have a month to prepare. There's a lot to do.
There's a lot to do, but I think that I think we're gonna crush this trip.
Crush.
Yeah, I have a really good feeling about this trip.
Me too.
Yeah, if you're in Greece while we're there, hit us up. Or if you see us out while we're in Greece, say what's up. We're trying to party, have a good time, meet a lot of cool people. So let's get after it.
Let's do it, baby.
What are we talking about today, Caitlin?
Today we're talking about how to build a healthy relationship, and this week we're focusing on communication.
Cornerstone of all relationships, I think, is communication, how willing and open you are to be vulnerable with your partner. And yeah, I think that if you can get this aspect of your relationship down, everything else and all the problems you're going to face will become at least a little bit easier.
I agree. I feel like this is our most asked question. It's always something about communication or fighting or whatever. And like you said, if you're willing to be vulnerable, the relationship's going to be amazing. But a lot of people are scared to be vulnerable because, you know, they don't want to get hurt. But if you get hurt, that's part of life. You'll learn a lesson, you know?
I think one of the most important aspects of communication between you and your partner is simply not holding things in and not letting things build up to the point where now when you're in an argument about something, you bring up something from 3 months ago that, you know, you've been letting build up inside of you.
I agree. And this is, I'm going to be completely honest, this is so hard for me, but I feel like in the last, honestly, in the last couple of weeks, I've really come into this, not even just in romantic relationships, but just in general. You know, I think a lot of people feel like their feelings are invalid, or if they speak how they feel, it's going to be a burden or something. But that's simply not the case. The way that you feel is important in any aspect of your life, and you should say it. And it's not always the easiest thing to do. I wanted to talk to Will about something the other day, and sometimes I'm a little bit bad with my words. If I'm talking about my feelings, I can start. I know, but if I'm talking about how I feel, if I'll start, and then all of a sudden my brain just goes blank, and I'm like, and this is so silly, but I'll write it down, and I'll be like, hey, can I talk to you about something? And he's like, oh my god, yeah, what? I'm like, it's not bad. I'm like, but I wrote it down. Can I just read it to you? Even if you have to start off with that, if you're a person that has a hard time expressing how they feel, if you have to start off with writing it down and reading it to someone first, do that. If you have to ask someone else what you think you should say, do that. Just in all forms of communication, it's always going to be a little awkward for you at first, and if you stumble over your words or you don't say the right thing, you just have to, it's like anything else, you have to practice and, you know, get better at that. And I think in all relationships, that's kind of what you and your partner should do. Even if it's uncomfortable, you'll grow through that, and eventually it won't be uncomfortable. It'll just be standard practice.
I agree. And I think a very important factor when considering all this too is that when you get in a relationship with someone, this better be someone that you trust a lot. And trust isn't just in the sense of, oh, I trust them to, you know, not hurt me. You have to trust their opinion. You have to trust their intelligence, their knowledge. You have to trust that if they're going to be saying something to you, they're not saying this out of spite or just because they want to break your balls. They're saying this because they actually mean it and they're trying to help in a certain way. I think people get caught up in that, and there's a very fine line between just annoying someone all the time and bothering someone, which can happen as well. Like you don't want to be up someone's ass all the time as well. But at the end of the day, if you're with someone like I'm with Kate, I trust her, I trust her opinion. I know she's not going to tell me something just to say it and hear herself speak. So if you can get to that point with your partner, oh my gosh, any single time that you have anything on your mind, big, small, say it, and it's going to make a huge difference in the long run.
And how like beautiful is that too? Once you get to that point, you're like, I trust this person. I can say how I feel to them and I know that it's going to be received in a good way.
Exactly.
And also in all of these like communication things, you know, the way someone receives it ultimately doesn't matter. What matters is the way that you feel is important and you're getting it out, you know? And with your partner, like if they react in a bad way, maybe that's something you guys need to work through. Or maybe you realize, oh, this person isn't receptive to my feelings and I need to look at this relationship and like, is this working for me?
And to Kate's point, yes, you should always be taking this stuff well. You know, even if the person is out of line or they're saying something you don't necessarily believe, it's not right to meet anything with aggression or to be defensive. And again, healthy communication stems from two people trusting each other. So if you believe that your person is coming with good intent, don't show aggression. Don't get mad at them for bringing something up. And again, that openness and her being able to be so comfortable to say something, it'll really help in the long run.
Yeah, and when you're very open and honest about things, like you guys are gonna just disagree on things. Like that's just the fact of the matter. And then, but if you never say how you feel, then you never can even get to these disagreements, which are really important because some disagreements are gonna be non-negotiable. Maybe you're like, oh, this person maybe isn't right for me. And then some disagreements you're gonna be able to come to a resolution. But if you never get out how you feel. Like if you're just stewing on something and you never even let the person know, maybe the person has a really good explanation for it, or maybe even you just saying it out loud makes you feel better, or maybe it's something that would be a make or break thing in the relationship, but you'll never know unless you're being very honest and upfront with how you're feeling.
I love that. I think something else that we do that's really healthy, and I'm actually very proud of to say that we do this in our relationship, is that we check in with each other all the time. Whether it's something small, something big. Literally earlier today, I asked Kate, hey, is there anything that I'm doing that I could be improving on? Is there anything that I'm doing that's making you unhappy? Um, is there any aspects of our relationship where you feel like I'm lacking in? And when I'm asking her these questions, she knows that this is the safest space. This is the time where I'm looking for critiques. I'm trying to make myself the best man to her that I can. So she's not going to come at me with some disrespectful shit. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for things if she has things on her mind, right? I also don't want her digging for stuff. But this is the time where we kind of look to each other to say, hey, honesty time, anything you're thinking of that I could be better at.
And I think that's really important. And that kind of goes back to like the not being defensive thing, right? Like you're asking straight up, is there anything I'm doing wrong? And you're being very like open and welcoming to that. You know, I feel like a lot of people would be like, well, I'm doing like this and this and this. Like, this isn't good enough, you know?
What did you ask me this morning?
Oh, so earlier today, I, so let me just say it. Will cooks a lot. Okay.
And I like to cook. I genuinely do like to cook.
And he's good
I went
at
to
it.
culinary school.
Yeah.
I like it.
But I recently decided that I'm gonna start Instacarting stuff, and so like I went crazy, and I'm like making Will like sandwiches for lunch now. I say now, it's the second day, whatever. Anyways,
It's great.
so I'm so I'm making Will lunch, and I was making it, and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I don't really do that this much, and I like made him a sandwich, whatever, and I was like, I'm really sorry that I don't like cook for you more often. Like, is that like something that you want, you know? And just, I think even if, as far as like the checking in thing, like owning up without them saying something to you, like you noticing within yourself, like, I think this is something that my partner really likes, and I'm noticing that I'm not doing it as much as I think that I should. That is like a really good thing, because then you're admitting that you think you made a mistake, or you're not doing something that you should be doing. And so then that kind of opens the floor to like he could be like, you know what, I haven't really been doing this. Like, is that okay? Like, or do you
Exactly.
want more of that?
It's less about the fact that she mentioned, "Hey, I'm sorry, I haven't been doing this as much," or "Hey, do you want me to be cooking more?" It's the fact that without being provoked, she just said, "Hey, I've been thinking about this and I feel really bad about it." And that's not even something I've been thinking about, right? But the fact that she even brought that up, it made me feel so important, feel seen, and just it made me feel like she really gives a shit about this relationship. And I know she gives a shit about this relationship, but these unprovoked things, and again, times where you can come up to your partner and say, "Hey, what up? Anything I could be doing better?" Like that's gonna mean a lot to your person, because they're gonna know no matter what, like, hey, they're trying to be the best version of themselves for me. It's not many people who are willing to do that in everyone's life. And this is, what do they say? This is your special person. Like, that's a really good way to make your person feel really special.
And even like outside of the relationship, as far as checking in, like I asked Will the other day, I was like, are you happy with how this is going in your life? Like, just like asking, like, genuinely, are you happy with this specific thing in your life? Because, I think we get so busy and caught up in all this stuff. And I just want to make sure that my partner is happy with like what they're doing.
That's We do that all the time as well, and I think that's so cool. And it doesn't even have anything to do like with us per se, but it's like, hey, what did I ask her the other day? We're on this social media journey where we make content. She models, I make music, we both write songs together, we have a big friend group, we travel, we do a whole bunch of different things. And I just asked her the other day, like, we've been very busy. I said, hey, are you happy? Like, I'm assuming you are, and this feels great to me. But just because something feels very good to me and I'm really happy, doesn't always necessarily mean that my girl's gonna be happy. So periodically, like I did the other day, just checked in and say, "You good with all this? Just the direction you want to be going, but are you truly happy?" And so far, all the answers have been yes, which have been great.
And that's important too, because then that's gonna provoke your partner to think like, am I happy? Like, are there other things I could be adding into my life or taking out of my life to make things better? And you asked me that, like we've been so busy, and I was thinking, I was like, you know what, I haven't been prioritizing like going to yoga or meditating or like doing things or journaling or just listening to music or doing things that really make me feel good. And I was like, you know what? I do need to like add those back into my life again. And it's because he asked, because he cared, because I wasn't gonna ask myself that. Does that make sense?
It does. I'll tell you what, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a very naturally positive, happy person. I'm very blessed. I wake up happy every day. And nothing bothers me and pains me more to hear anybody say, I am not happy. Like, even just saying that, like, that really sucks. And I think that as a society, as people, we don't focus on that enough. Like, I've talked to my brother, some of my best friends, even my girlfriend at times about, hey, like, I'm just not really happy with something, with how this is going. That should be addressed immediately, before anyone's career, before anyone's whatever it is. You got to address your happiness, and just asking that question to your partner flat out, I think, will always really help.
Yeah, it kind of holds your partner accountable. If you have a partner that kind of gets caught up in things and doesn't really take a step back to ask themselves that, having a partner to ask you that, that's like more helpful than you can imagine, honestly.
It feels really good to have it as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Something else that I have learned, that I feel like has helped a lot, is whenever you bring something up to me, whether it's a problem, or just anything going on in your life, I ask you, would you like sympathy or solutions? And in the past, I think a lot of guys, uh, we just think, oh, okay, how can I fix this? How can I solve this? And that's often not what the ladies are looking for. And so I think even by asking sympathy or solutions, not only is that going to help your conversation and it's going to direct your girlfriend in a better way, it's also going to let her know, like, holy shit, this guy is really emotionally mature and he's like trying to figure out what I need right now, not how I can solve it.
Yeah, that shows that you really care about how she's feeling, right? Because you're asking like, do you want me to like sit here and be there for you, or are you asking me for advice what to do with the situation? It just like with the me saying like, hey, like I'm sorry I haven't been doing this. Like it isn't even necessarily about the act. It's like, oh, this person gives a fuck.
That's true. It's very true. And sometimes just a good hug can go a long way, and just being there for someone, telling them, yo, you got this, no worries. Arr, arr, you're a dog, like flexing on them. You know what I mean? Just like sometimes your girl just needs it, or guy for that matter, needs to get hyped up, and um, I think that's very important in a relationship to just determine, okay, what do you need? Is it going to be solutions? Is it going to be sympathy?
So for us, if it's sympathy or solutions, what do you guys need?
Ooh, I think we need a third S. I think guys just need support. I think honestly everybody needs support, but I think guys we're naturally looking for solutions. So if we have a girl that's hyping us up, same thing, telling us you're the man. Like a lot of times we might not think we're the man, our confidence might waver sometimes, but like if we have that special someone who's making us feel special, hyping us up, giving us that support, telling us, dude, you fucking got it, you're the fucking man, you're a king. Like that helps so much. And I think just having that and instilling that confidence in us, like that's what we need as guys for sure.
And I think that's something else we do in terms of communication, just in general. Like if you see your partner doing something that you're proud of or that you like, or
Mm.
just anything that you admire, let them know
Say
immediately.
it.
Like it should be, because sometimes you like see your partner doing something and you're like, oh, that's nice. But you never say anything. Say just anytime you think anything nice about your partner or anyone, honestly, just say it.
That's
Let them know.
that's such a good point, and I don't think many people realize like how good that can make someone feel. Especially it could be something as small as like, dude, like nice ring to like, hey, like I really appreciate how you've been carrying yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just exactly whatever you're thinking, any point of just like praise to your person, say it. It will not get old. It's not corny. It's cool. Hype your fucking person up.
I think especially like for men, because I feel like men just don't get that enough. Women are so like, I post an Instagram picture, all of my friends are like, like like just
Baddie, she's
yeah,
the one.
you know what I'm saying, and I feel like men just don't get that enough, and they really, really want that from their partner because that's who like they care about. They like you care about your partner's opinion a lot,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's a really good point.
even if it's like the smallest, littlest thing, just say something. What you said earlier, like, I really like the way you've been carrying yourself lately. Like, what a thoughtful compliment.
And it's true, and I feel like again, we don't say these things enough to each other. And it's like, dude, that like say some shit from the heart, like it'll be felt. And I promise, in terms of all this communication, if you can kind of get to the point where you're focusing on this, what is something naturally that happens in every relationship? Disagreements, arguments, fights. If you can set yourself up with all of these things when it's the negative aspects of the relationship that are coming through, they're not going to feel so hardcore. They're not going to be intense because, again, if you can get all of this other stuff down, when you come to fighting, you're not going to want to be disrespectful. You're going to want to treat it with like class. I don't really know the best way to say it, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And I think it comes down also to like trust because you've been able to communicate so well. And so, if your partner is saying something to you, they mean it. If they're feeling something, if they're feeling uncomfortable, they're going to speak up. So now you're able to really trust what's coming out of your partner's mouth, which means a lot during like a disagreement or an argument because you're like, I can really trust what this person has to say. And what they're saying is like coming from the heart and it's not attacking me. It's because they're upset or they're uncomfortable. Basically, look, if you got something on your heart, say it. Say it with your chest.
Absolutely. Let it out, man.
Let it out. Even if you do a horrible job on it. Even if you're like, well, I'm scared because like even if you just stumble over your words and it's the worst speech you've ever given in your life, let it out.
Say it.
It's important.
That was part 1 of our how to build a healthy relationship. Part 2 is going to be on time, how to spend it together, how to spend it apart, the importance of both, and how to manage that, especially if you're both extremely busy.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Should we get some fan questions?
I would love to do some questions.
All right, come on.
Pull them up, pull them up.
All right, question number 1.
Hit me.
What are some tips for staying positive on a daily basis?
Oh man, I feel like we both have a lot.
That's a good one. You want to take it first?
I'll start off.
Let's
My
go, baby.
number 1, no matter what, no matter how you're feeling, if you somehow move your body, sweat in some kind of way, you will immediately feel better. Number 2, a tale as old as time. My mom, she would always be like, just go take a shower. Like, take a full body shower. Just go take a shower, change your sheets, get into bed. Number 3, are you hungry or are you tired? Fix those. I like to journal, meditate, go for a walk outside and listen to good music, take a look around. Like, don't look at your phone. Put your phone away. Play some music in your apartment. Like, do whatever. Just be weird by yourself alone. All of those things to me, you'll feel so much better. Do something creative without any like real end goal. Like, just make something just because you want to.
Hey, you just crushed that answer. I'll add a good little play sesh. Always helps with your girl. You know that definitely can help too. But for real, all jokes aside, I think you hit that on the head pretty hard. I'll say this one tip that I do every single morning when I wake up without fault. I check my left hand, my right hand. Make sure I got all my fingers. Check my toes, wiggle them around as best as I can because I can't bend my toes. But I got all 10 toes, cool. Put my hand over my heart, cool. It's bumping. Living to see another day. That's amazing. I look over to my right. I see my girl. She's sleeping. Our dog's in the middle of us. I'm like, wow, cool. Everyone's breathing. We're seeing another day. What a life. You know, I'm very blessed to be able to wake up and see another day, and I acknowledge that every single morning. And that alone really helps me get through the daily bullshit that we see, in our lives.
I also think having the mindset of like, things are not happening to you, they're happening for you. And I know that's so cliche, but if you're in a period of your life where it seems like just thing after thing after thing after thing is happening, really try to look at it from like your future self. And your future self is going to look back and be like, I'm so glad that happened because if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't know how to handle certain situations. So when things are like really rough, I always like have that mindset. I'm like, okay, I know it's for a good reason. I may not know what the reason is tomorrow, next week, maybe not the next 5 years, but one day I'll know the reason. So I'm just going to push through.
What's that expression? There's beauty in the struggle. You got to be able to trust the process and understand that the road to wherever you're getting to, whether that's love, your career, your finances, whatever it is going to be difficult no matter what. There's going to be a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and you will not be able to appreciate those ups if you haven't experienced the lows. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I would say realize, stealing my coffee as usual, realize and recognize how fortunate you are to be alive, to have your heart beating. Forget every day, every hour isn't promised. So I would just say, realize your life is very beautiful and enjoy the process.
Yeah, it's a process too, but it's all going to be okay, you know?
Absolutely.
And
all right. Ooh, okay. What kind of dates do you guys go on?
Ooh.
Okay, I'll take this one first.
Oh, take it.
So I love dinner dates. I love going out for dinner. Love going out for drinks. I love going to see music. We were on a movie kick for a while. I love going to the movie theater.
Nice.
The movie theater, I think, is a really special place. People hate on the movie theater for date night. For me, if you go out to dinner, you get to discuss, you get to do all of this, and then you go to this movie. I don't know. I feel like, especially if it's a good movie, you get to experience an art piece together. I think that's really cool. I think you get to dissect it after you watch it and talk about it. Get to cozy up in the theater, eat some gross snacks. I love the movie theater.
Wait, I saw something the other day.
What?
You're gonna hate this, so I just want your take on it.
Oh boy.
Someone said that watching like TV shows and movies with your partner is like the lowest form of like intimacy. They're like they're basically like trashing like watching things with your partner.
I don't necessarily disagree that it's like low level of intimacy. I don't think that it's very like romantic to be like watching something together, but I think that you are building a very strong bond with someone while you're doing that, watching shows, watching movies, and you're also collectively doing something you like. First of all, being in a relationship, it's not about being intimate with each other at every single moment as well. Like,
You kind of enjoy shit too.
first of all, if you were into, I don't mean to cut you off really quickly.
It's okay.
If you were intimate with somebody at every single moment of the day, then there is no intimacy because that's not a special moment anymore. You know what I'm saying? So there are dates that are going to be more intimate than others, and I wouldn't even consider like posting up at your house on the couch watching a show or a movie with your girl as something that's like date night, you know?
No, that's not a date night.
Yeah, but I know I understand what the person's trying to say, but like that's a bad take.
I think so too, because also you like talk about it after. You know what I'm saying? You like it brings up like certain discussions. So I guess maybe not in the moment you're watching the movie, yeah, that's not that intimate, but like before and after. You know what I mean?
It's also something that I genuinely love. I love cinema. I love television. I love music. I love talking about all that stuff with people. So I don't know. I think that's something cool and something that we enjoy doing together.
Yeah.
I think finding a bunch of things that you enjoy doing together with your partner is a really good thing. I don't know. I don't see that necessarily as a bad thing.
What are the other kind of dates? I can tell you like my favorite ones.
I love going to the arcade.
I knew you were gonna say
Love an arcade date. That is very intimate. That can get romantic. You can be super playful. You can have an array of conversations while you're playing games that don't really matter, but you can kind of get your competitive spirits out with one another. I love the arcade.
I know, me too. My favorite though, for sure, is going to the like having a beach day, like going to the beach, bringing like.
That's
you
one of
make
our
it a
most
whole-
popular days. I don't know how I didn't say that.
I know, you make it a whole trip, right? You pick up some like food along the way, you go to the beach, you're there all day, you're eating snacks, you're chilling, you're swimming, like maybe you get dinner on the way home, maybe you get ice cream, like you do something on the way home. It's like the best.
You know what's one of the coolest parts of the beach date?
What?
The drive home
Oh,
from the beach is like a very romantic time. You just had all this. You just had all these moments at the beach together. You're a bit sun kissed. You know, the hair is a little bit wavy. I don't know. You put that Drake on in the car on the way home. It just hits a little different. You know,
the sunset too, man.
2 Chainz like bumping in the back is just like, ooh, my goodness.
No, it's the best. It's the best.
All right, let's see what else we got.
All right, hit me with another question, will it?
All right, last question. What are your thoughts on needing distance, space in a relationship?
So does this mean distance is in like, oh, or like does this mean oh I need space, or is it just talking about like having your alone time?
I think it's talking about having the alone time. At least that's how I'm interpreting it.
Oh, okay. I think that's so important. Like, I think you should each have your individual lives, you know, and you grow as an individual, and then you have your life together and you grow together. And those are going to intertwine, but I think you have to have your own interests and your own
Got
things
it.
that you do by yourself that make you who you are. Like you don't want to completely like merge into this other person to where you're just one unit and that's it. Because that is like the number one way to kill a relationship.
And it is, and as relationships grow longer and longer, a lot of times the friend groups start to collide a little bit, and I think that's a really good thing. I think it's just also important to have alone time with your friends as well, whether that's going out, whether that's kicking it for a coffee, whatever it may be. I think the group time is amazing. I think that's really important. But just make sure that you're doing your own thing as well, that you're taking some time. Even if you're in the house together at the same time, you don't got to be together at all moments. We have different hobbies, we do different things, and that'll make the time whenever you come back together so much stronger.
I agree. It makes it more special. And then like
You yearn for the person.
yeah, and you
I yearn for
also
you, baby.
you also have something to talk about. And how cool is it like when let's say you go to the studio by yourself and you come back and you're so like passionate talking about like something that you made and something that you did, and that's really cool to see your person doing things without you that they're really proud of.
That's a really, really good point. And at the end of the day, oop, I just farted. Excuse me.
Oh god, it's so hot in here too.
I know
Not a
that
hot
slipped. That
bar.
slipped. I'm sorry. And I know you just talked about being proud. Like I'm sure you're not very proud of that. I'm sorry. It won't. It won't smell. It won't smell.
You're gonna hold in the smell.
Yeah. I already mitigated the smell.
Oh,
Don't
okay,
worry.
thank you.
Even when it comes to girls' night, for example, I tell Kate all the time, like, dude, go out with the homies. Don't text me. Don't call me. Have fun. Just like let me know when you're on the way home. Just that's all I ask for. At the end of the day, I trust my girl. I know what goes on at these places, but it doesn't matter. She's with her girl, she's having fun. And that's also going to make her less likely to want to go out all the time and get away from me. If I'm very willing to be like, hey, fucking go have fun. There's nothing that would make a girl want to go out and go to the club and party harder than a guy telling her, no, you can't go out with her friends. No, don't be doing that. Yada yada yada. So don't do that shit. That's really weird.
Yeah, and I'm sure like guys are the same way. If you have a girl that's all the time just like, what are you doing? Where are you at? Who are you with? Da, 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 I would go
I'd be getting
insane.
hammered on a Monday, at 2 p.m. if that was the case. So no, yeah, that can't happen. Don't bust your partner's balls. Was what I'm trying to say. Let them be individuals as well. If you trust them and you know they're being respectful and loyal to you, you have nothing to worry about. It'll only make your relationship so much stronger.
And yeah, even bringing all this back to the stuff about communication, right? If you communicate with your partner really well, you guys are gonna trust each other, and like it's gonna be okay for them to go do their own thing, and like that should be the standard. Like you should have a life outside of your partner that is amazing and great and fulfilling, and you should have a life with your partner that's amazing and great and fulfilling.
I think so too. Hope that helps. Hope that answered the question.
Yeah.
If you have any other fan questions, you can submit all of them to beautyandthegreekshow@gmail.com. We try to answer as many as we can. If you subscribe to our Patreon, we guarantee that your questions will all be answered. We appreciate the subscribers on Patreon. We love you. We see you. You are the original OGs.
The link to our Patreon will be in the show notes. But yeah, look, guys, if you like this podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a little thumbs up, leave a little comment,
Thumbs
subscribe.
up.
If you're on any other platform,
Subscribe.
subscribe, leave a little rating, put
Leave
it
a
on your story, send it
rating.
to a
Put in your
friend,
stories.
send it to your boyfriend,
Tell
your girlfriend,
friend,
your mom, your dad, your
girlfriend,
grandma.
girlfriend, grandma.
You know?
Send it to all of them.
Let them know.
We hope you had a great, great, great time with us. Appreciate you spending your Monday with us, your Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it is. But we have new episodes every Monday. We will see you next time. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Anything y'all need? Hit that email. Hit that DM.
Yes.
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 Yes, Maracas.